bit much. So I'm going to go back to 50. And then of course flake height is, it's the metallic flakes can have a bump to it, so it's kind of like a bump height for the flake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use those settings. I'm going to go back to frame 0 so we can see the whole car in our next render. But before we continue, remember how, let's just take a look at that render before. Remember I said it's like a frosted metal, but I want that nice, shiny, new car look? Well, what I can do is come over to Paint Clear Coat, and right now it's set to 0%. Now I could crank that up 50%. We can start to see it's really glossy. It gets a little darker too because we've got a thickness to that clear coat. So what I'm going to do is for the clear coat, instead of 50%, I'm going to try, let's cut that in half, 25%. I'm going to just try 30. Okay. And then for the paint specularity, instead of 70, I'm going to lower that, and let's just try 40. And it's going to allow me to brighten up that surface a little bit, and it's going to help with the fact that I've got clear coat on there now, which was a little thicker and darkening up the surface. So let's take a look using these settings. Let's take a look at where we're at with our surface. Okay, now we're talking. Look at this. We've got this really nice metallic, shiny new car look, or I should say new truck. But as you can see, we're reflecting those cards that are above. We've got the clear coat on there, which is nice and shiny. We could even make it shinier. Now, one thing that we could do is we've got a pretty crisp reflection on there. If we want, we could go over to the Advanced tab. Now there is the paint reflection blur, and that's for the paint that's underneath the clear coat. There's also, and that's already active, but there's also clear coat reflection blur. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on just so we can kind of compare. So the clear coat reflection blur is on. Let's do a render. Okay, and as you can see, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to zoom in so that you can really see. Okay, so this is with the clear coat reflection blur, and this is without it. So depending on what look you're going for, you might decide to take advantage of that option. In this case, I'm actually more of a fan for this particular vehicle of not having the reflection, but you can see, depending on the look you're going for, you have that option. So I'm just going to turn that off, and then I'm going to, let's go to 100% on our render just so we can take a look. And there's one last thing that I want to point out. Of course we have various options like the roughness. Remember when we came in, let's not remember, let's just go back. When we came in and we had this very rough look to this, it was very matte, it wasn't very shiny. Well, we can change the roughness of our paint, and so we have various options like the paint specularity and roughness and the bump height. Let's go back to the one that I like right there. But what we can also do, we are talking about the node editor here, we can also feed whatever nodes we want and node flows we want into each one of these attributes, which gives us ultimate control over every attribute of the Carpaint material. Now, what we were able to accomplish with the render with just this one node gets us where we might call this finished. We've got a nice Carpaint on there with some little metallic flakes that are showing up, nice reflections and specularity, but I'm going to dress it up just a little bit just to give you an idea how we can keep taking it to the next level depending on the look you're going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Add Node, choose Gradient. I'm going to choose Gradient right here. Okay, and I'm going to plug this into the color, into the Carpaint color. So as you can see, the paint color gets ghosted out because it's no longer going to read this information, it's going to read this information. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the input parameter is going to be set to incidence. I'm going to choose the color for the 0 for the edges. I'm going to choose, just so that it really shows up, I'm going to choose this this hot pink color. Okay, and then I'm going to choose the same blue that we've been using. So for the most part, I want the car to be blue, but then as you can see on the edging here, I want it to have this hot pink feel to it. Okay, so we'll do something like that, and you can see it on the Carpaint node here, you can see that hot pink hitting the edges. So let's go ahead and use that. I'm going to go ahead and close this window down, but I just want to, remind you, we have all these input channels right here that we can feed whatever we want to control it. So we're not just talking about if it's, if the clear coat bump height is looking for a scalar value, 0 to 1, we don't have to just say that it's got to be one solid value. We could throw a procedural like turbulence in, and then we could break it up over the surface, which gives us, of course, ultimate control over our surface. Let's go ahead and close these down and do get a render of this with the new incidence angle gradient fed into the Carpaint color. And there we go. Now we've really souped this up. So you can see the hot pink taking advantage of the incidence gradient and kind of filling it in. So now we've got that iridescent feel to it on this custom paint job. So again, quick look at the Carpaint material node. Like the other material nodes, it allows you to get in there and quickly get a really nice looking surface just by changing a few attributes, and you don't have to go through any hassle of setting up individual attributes with the traditional way of setting it up. We can just throw that material node on there, make a few changes, and end up with something that looks nice. So again, quick look at the material node found in the node editor in Lightwave Layout.